This mic, crazy. Look at the wind. Dead cat. So today we're going to talk about my top 5 FPV drone simulators. Now, when you start flying, one of the hardest things actually for me, or I found, was learning to actually fly. And a simulator will help you train and practice, especially when the weather's not great or it's too windy, so you can get that muscle memory on the sticks, so you feel confident that when you do go out, you're not going to bury your drone quite as much. Bearing in mind, some of these simulators cost money, and they are going to be hungry on resources. So if you've got like a gaming PC, or if you've got a modern laptop or a PS4, they're going to help. If you've got something like an older laptop or an older PC like I had when I started out, you've got to turn all those graphics settings down. But nonetheless, here are my top 5 FPV drone simulators. So coming in at no particular order, you've got the Drone Racing League. This simulator came out in 2017 and it's $9.99 on Steam. It's a pretty good sim. The graphics are okay. I mean, it came out in 2017. There's a fair selection of quads you can use, and the maps are pretty good. You can do some racing on there. The flying's pretty accurate. The main downside to this sim is just the graphics. I mean, it's not the best, and the physics aren't the best, so I think there's better simulators out there. Next up, we've got Liftoff. Now, this came out in 2018 and it's still $19.99. Now, it's quite a community-led simulator, so there's lots of input that goes into it. There's a fair selection of maps. The quads are pretty cool. There's a good selection from racing quads. You can even use DJI FPV in there. You can change all your rates and all your settings fairly easily, and it's got blueprints, so you can download other people's quads that they've made. The graphics, again, they're okay. The physics are pretty good, and it feels almost like you're flying, but I think there's better simulators out there. Next up, we've got Uncrashed. It came out in 2021 and it's $14.99 on Steam. One of the first things you're going to notice about this sim is that the graphics are incredible. There's a section on there where you can race on a circuit chasing drift cars. It looks incredible. There's a handful of maps that you can choose from. You can do sort of mountain ranges to glacier coasting to track stuff to bando stuff. There's even racing in there that you can do, but it's kind of let down by the lack of updates. There's no set quads that you can choose, so you have to use like a preset. So you've got 4 or 5 different quads you can choose from in terms of a preset. The graphics are incredible, but for me, physics wise, it feels pretty floaty. No matter what settings I put into it, it feels incredibly floaty, and it kind of lets it down on that side. The next FPV simulator is called Trip. Now, this came out really recently, June 2022, and it's $13.99 on Steam. Now, being a very new simulator, the graphics on this are even better than Uncrashed. The motion blur, the way the sun dips behind the mountains, it really is a really good looking sim, but it's also let down by the lack of updates. There's only 3 maps you can choose from. It's been hinted that there's going to be more coming soon, but you've only got 3 to start with. One's in like a desert, one's in like a bando area, and then one's like a mountain cruise. Now, it'd be great if some more maps came out, as well as some quads, because there's only like 3 quads you can choose from, and again, physics wise, it feels pretty floaty. But with the graphics being so good, you gotta ask yourself, do you want to play something that looks as great, or do you want to have something that actually feels like a simulator? On my old iMac, I had to turn all of the graphic resolutions all the way down just to be able to play the game. So I'm feeling like it is pretty power hungry on your PC or your MacBook or whatever you're going to be using it on. So bear that in mind. If you've got an old computer, then this simulator might not run as well as it can. Overall, it's a pretty good simulator. I think it's got the potential to be an amazing simulator if they update the physics and they actually put out some new maps and maybe some more quads. Now, the final simulator we have, and this is one of the OGs, it's called Velocidrone. It came out in 2016 and it's $16.99 on their website. If you go on the website, it is old school. I mean, they haven't updated this site in a long time, and it feels like you're going to buy something that's going to come out looking like Pac-Man. And to be fair, the graphics they're very much Minecraft. It's very, very old school. But on the positive side, there's a lot of maps to choose from. There's loads of downloadable maps you can get for it, and there are lots and lots of quads. And what's nice is that the quads actually feel similar to how the quads are in real life. So if you want to fly like a Nazgul, you can. If you want to fly a 533 switchback, you can. If you want to fly a tiny whip, you can. We've already touched on the graphics, but they're not the best. But what's really good about this game is the physics. In my opinion, this is the best FPV simulator for physics alone. It actually feels like you're flying, and there are lots and lots of tutorials on there to help you learn to fly. They've got a whole YouTube series where you can go through different maps and it teaches you how to fly. So I hope that was a help. Maybe it was a help, maybe it wasn't. FPV sim. I think just in general, being able to fly in a simulator when it's raining and just practice that muscle memory is like super important to learn to fly. It's something that I do all the time. I'm probably getting the sim most days if I can. Just do half an hour to an hour on your lunch breaks and stuff, just to keep practicing. So let me know if this has helped you. I'm sorry about the dodgy, the muff situation, but my boom mic is dead, so this is going to have to do for today. So let me know if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.